Let me ask you something. When was the last time you installed a new app? And did you actually read the terms and conditions? If you're like most people, you probably just scrolled right to the bottom and clicked I agree. But what if I told you that simple, tiny click could have some pretty major consequences? Today, we're going to uncover the hidden world of software licenses and why understanding them is absolutely crucial. Okay, let's dive right in. We have all been there. You're installing a new program, and up pops that wall of text asking you to agree. You scroll, you click, and you move on with your day. But here's the thing. That click creates a legally binding contract. So what on earth are we all agreeing to? And what happens if we get it wrong? Just think about that for a second. Is it just, a slap on the wrist? A minor problem? Or could it be something way more serious? The truth is, mismanaging software licenses can have massive, and I mean massive, consequences. Not just for you, but for your entire company. And look at how these dangers are all connected. Ignoring a license? That can lead to some staggering legal fines. But it's not just about the money. Using unauthorized software usually means you get cut off from critical security updates, which leaves you completely exposed to malware. And at the end of the day, it's a form of intellectual property theft. So the key here is that this isn't just about some boring rules. It's really about security and ethics. Okay, so to navigate this whole minefield, we first need to understand the two basic types of software out there. You can pretty much split all software into one of two major camps, and each one has a totally different philosophy about who owns it, who controls it, and what you can do with it. So first up, we've got proprietary software. This is the stuff most of us use every single day, like Microsoft Office or Adobe Photoshop. A company builds it, they own it, and they sell you a license to use it, but under very specific, restricted rules. It's kind of like renting a car. You can drive it, sure, but you can't just decide to repaint it or start swapping out engine parts. And then on the complete other side of things, you have open source software. This stuff is all about collaboration. The actual code that makes the software run, the source code, is freely available for anyone to look at, to use, to change, and to share. Think of things like the Linux operating system or the Firefox browser. The whole idea here is community and transparency. So here, you can really see the difference side by side. With proprietary software, the vendor has all the control. The costs are whatever they say they are, and you can't modify a thing. With open source, control is shared with the community, it's often free to use, and you actually have the right to get in there and change the code. Now, neither one is automatically better. It totally depends on what you need, but they are just fundamentally different worlds. So whether you're using proprietary or open source software, you've got to play by its specific rules. And those rules are all laid out in the license type. Let's break down what those are. All right, let's imagine a quick scenario. You're in charge of IT at your company. You need to get new software onto hundreds, maybe even thousands of employee computers, but only on the machines the company owns. Buying a separate license for every single person will be a total nightmare to keep track of. So what do? And the answer is a site license. This is like the bulk option. It's your go-to for a huge rollout. It basically gives an entire organization or a site the right to use the software on all their devices. It's way more efficient, it's so much easier to manage, and it makes sure everyone who needs access has it, legally. Of course, the most common type of license we all run into is the single-user license. It's super simple. One person gets to install and use the software on one device. That's pretty much the standard for most software we buy for ourselves. Think of it like a single ticket to a movie. It's just for you. Then things get a little more interesting with a concurrent license. This one isn't about how many people can use the software in total. It's about how many can use it at the very same time. So if a company has a 10-user concurrent license, any of their 100 employees can use it, but only 10 of them can be logged in at once. This is perfect for really expensive, specialized software that not everyone needs all day long. And how do we actually pay for all this? Well, there are two main ways. A perpetual license is a one-time payment. You buy it, and you own that version of the software forever. It's like buying a DVD. A subscription, on the other hand, is an ongoing fee, usually monthly or yearly, which is super common with cloud services now. That's more like your Netflix subscription. And hey, let's not forget about the good old product key. That super long string of letters and numbers. That's your proof of purchase. It's what activates your software and proves you have a real license. You've got to guard that thing carefully. It is literally the key to your digital castle. Okay, so we know the philosophies and we know the rules of the game. But what happens when people just decide to, break those rules completely? This brings us to the really serious issue of software piracy. Piracy, put simply, is just the illegal use of software. It doesn't matter if it's copying it, sharing it, or selling it outside the terms of the license. It's a violation of that contract you clicked I agree on. And it shows up in a few common ways. For instance, installing a single user license on a bunch of different computers, that's unauthorized copying. Client-server overuse is when a company with, say, a 10-user license actually has 20 people using the software. Then you've got counterfeit software, which is often sold at a crazy discount and might be loaded with malware. And of course, there's just plain old internet piracy, where you can download almost anything for free from file-sharing sites. And this brings us right back to where we started, doesn't it? These risks are not just some theoretical thing. Using pirated software means you get no security updates, which is just asking for trouble with malware. It carries the real threat of serious legal action, and it's directly supporting intellectual property theft. That free download is never, ever truly free. All right, we've covered a ton of ground here, from the different license types to the very real dangers of piracy. So what are the most important things to remember to keep yourself safe and on the right side of the law? It really just boils down to 3 simple ideas. First, and this is the most important one, know your license. Before you click I agree, take just a moment to find and actually read the end user license agreement, the EULA. Is it a single user license, a site license? Is it a one-time purchase or a subscription? Knowing the rules is always the first step to following them. Second, once you know what the rules are, just stick to them. It's that simple. Don't install that single user license on both your work computer and your home laptop if the rules say you can't. Staying compliant is your absolute best defense against all those legal and security risks we've been talking about. And finally, the absolute easiest way to make sure you're compliant is to always, always buy your software from verified, legitimate sellers. If you see a deal online that just seems way too good to be true, it almost certainly is. So next time you're about to download a program, just do a quick check to make sure you're getting it from the real official source. So here's the bottom line. Software licenses aren't just boring fine print. They are the fundamental rules that govern our digital world. They're there to protect the people who create the software, and when we follow them, they protect us, the users too. Which leads me to one last question for you to think about. Now that you know the rules of the game, take a look at the software on your own computer. Is all of it telling the truth?